Hi guys. Provided a question that given an array of random numbers. Random numbers could be anything. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand the logics, and first of all, you have to read the questions, understand the questions first. The step is what? We have to understand the questions first. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand question. Number one is the step understand. Understand the question. Later on, what you can do, you break the questions into multiple parts, like given an array of random numbers, push all the zeros of a given array to the end of the array. Means for example, if it is given arrays like this, which I have written over here, then it should change to like this. Okay, so all zeros are right side. Now you can see over here, now is now in one is at 0th position, so one is at 0th position, 9 9 8 8 4 4. But later on 2 zeros are there, which is being shifted to right, but 2 is here, right? So 2 become after 4, so 4, which is non zero, and 2 is also non zero, so that 2 will be coming after 4, which is non-zero as well. Okay, now let's say 7 is coming after 2, which is in the original array, and in the modified array, that is 7 is also coming after 2. Yeah, so likewise 6 is also coming over there after 7 only in the modified array. So you understood the questions. We have to write this query now. First of all, you forgot about the time complexity and all. Later on, if you write the program, you go through the program and understand. You just have to read something about how can we reduce the time complexity and space complexity, what they are in terms of programming. That is, these two things are very important. Actually, I have mentioned earlier as well. So now, second step is to how we can break the questions, right? So we just have to think about breaking the questions, breaking the questions into module modules. So why this is? Because let's say we have a given a big task, right? So if we understand it is a bigger picture of it, and bigger task is provided to us, if we don't break that, we won't be able to solve that. Okay, so we have to be like, we have to break it into multiple small pieces and understand it and implement it, and then integrate these modules and these pieces of the program, and the output would be very much convincing, and expected output would be achieved. Now here the thing is that we have to iterate through each and every element of this array. Yeah, so at 0th position there is 1, and first position. Now the problem can be means the solution should be provided as 0 0 at the end. Question may be switched to another way, like if these zeros, we want these zeros at first, means for example output can be like this as well. So program means question, the interviewer can ask you the question that these zeros should be at first and non zeros should be at right. This is one scenario. Another scenario is what? Questions can be asked like, if I put any negative value over here, what will happen? So you have to consider boundary conditions also. You have to think out of the box actually. So you have to think all the scenarios, all the combinations of scenarios, all the ways to uh, cater or write the programs. Okay, means understand the boundary conditions as well. And what if the negative, what if interview ask you to write means zeros first and later on. So all these different kind of questions can be asked. Okay, and if the same array is of characters, and in that characters you may have asked, let's say a, all the a's should come later on, or all a's should come first, likewise whatever it is, right? So if you have solved the one question from your mind, you may have 10 questions ready, and that can be solved from your side as well. So this is you have to think about it. Okay, and you, if I'm giving you the video of this particular program, you have to think about all the scenarios, all kind of things, and implement from yourself. Then only you will be a master one. Okay, so here one thing is that this is array given to us. Now we can solve this problem by putting one pointer over here at 1 and another pointer at 0. But let's think about this approach. Okay, so first is 1 and 0. If we see that 0 should be our original answer was what, so we would go for that only. Okay, yeah, yeah. So the zeros are later, means at the end of the array, and all the non-zeros would be first. Okay, so if I think of this particular array, and 1 is at 0th position, 0 is at the end of the array. Now if I put two pointers, one at the here and another one is here, and compare both of these, and if 0 at the right, which we want it, we won't swap. Okay, go ahead, I will be increase, and let's say L is there left and R is there for right. So right will decrement over there and R will increment. Now here non-zeros are there, don't do anything, go over here, and 0 is there. So if it is 0, 6 is remaining over there, so 0 will come over here. So this approach is like, I don't think so this approach is going to be good enough to solve our problem. Okay, because what we do means, what kind of combinations are there to swap or something. So let's see, let's say means the, and also if let's say we have to uh, swap this 0 to this one 6, if we don't in decrement, then 6 will come over here and it will be first, means it will be before 2, which should not be there, right? Because 2 is 6 is after 2, so 2 should be ahead of 6. So the sequence should not be different, the sequence should be same for the non-zero values. Okay, so we cannot go for two pointers at L and R, means the at the end of the array we cannot put the right R value, R means the right pointer. So we can have two pointers, yeah, but at the beginning of the array. Yeah, so at 0th position the L is there, first position the R is there. So we will compare two values and swap. Okay, so how many combinations will be there? How many combinations? First combination would be, let's say let's consider A means 1. First combination is, I am denoting 1 as non-zero and 0 as 0. Okay, so first if I consider 1 0, it could be means 2, if we consider only two elements, L value and R value. So L is 1, R is 9. Okay, so let's say here we have L and R. Yeah, yeah. So here L and R, what would be the value? B 1 0 is done. Now we can have 0 comma 1. This is second scenario. C is third scenario, like 0 comma 0, and D dot means 1 comma 1. Now here what will we do for these scenarios? Four kind of scenarios could be there, possible scenarios, all possible scenarios could be there for L and R value. Means the position is there L and R, but the element would be either non-zero, one is non-zero and 0 is, like, you know that 0 it is, and 0 and non-zero. First is 0 and second is also 0, and L value is also 1, and the right value is also 1. So both are 0, both are 1, there is combinations. Okay, so what will you do now? Here let's say we have to push all the zeros at the right end. So this is already there 1 0, so we don't have to do anything. We just have to increment the L pointer and R pointer, because we don't have to do anything, we just have to go ahead. Okay, so we will go ahead with L plus plus and R plus plus. Now in this condition, what will we do? We have to push the zeros at right hand side, right? So we have to swap over here, swap it, and we have to increment both the pointers, because two pointers have done the modifications and all, and then swapping. Now they have to go ahead for new element. So L plus plus and R plus plus. Now here 0 0 is there, so if it is at the right hand side, we have pushed that 0, we should not do anything because it is already both elements are 0. So we have to go ahead with L plus plus and R plus plus. Okay, now here 1 1 is there. Okay, so we have to push zeros to the right hand side, and both are 1. Both are 1 means non-zero values. So after, if I increment L, then this one will remain over here, over there. Let's say consider this value, this is this kind of things, this kind of scenarios. Yeah, so now if I increment both at the current situation, L is at 2 and R is at 7, and if I increment both, so those two value will means L and R will come over here. L 7 is for L and 0 is for R. So now this is again we did not done anything over here, because that is swapping is not required over here. Swapping is not required over here, and 7 0 is there, 7 0 is also not required. But if we increment this L plus R, and L is at 0, R at 6, so we have to swap over here, right? So if both the values are non-zero, then we have to L plus plus and R plus plus, because this is done right way. And if both the values are 0, let's say, then we do not require to plus means increment L value, because later on there could be any one non-zero values that should be swapped over there, and yeah, so that is what R plus plus should be there only for 0 0 position. So this is, we can have the formula for those also. Means if the 0 0 should be right side, then for 0 0 we have to just R plus plus if it is going to the R and right hand side, and if those zeros should be at left, then we have to just increment the L plus plus for once. So likewise the formula can be made, but you just have to understand the logic, the concept behind that, what can be we write the program for that. Now all these scenarios can be performed at once for each iteration. Not all operations would be performed, because only one operation can be performed at for each iteration. Means if for loop is there I 0, so I and R 0 is there, means we are going to use the while loop over there, but we just have to use one iteration for one operation only. So we can make sure of that. How we can make sure of that? We can use the if else condition. So let's jump onto the program. Now I have to create a class which is, let's say, code samjo. Now we are going to have, let's say, integer array equals to these values. We will copy from here only. Now here we have copied. We have to define two positions as we have mentioned over here, L and R. So int L equals to 0th position, it will start, and R will start from L, means R equals to start, it will start from first position of the array. And we will use while loop over here to iterate through all the elements of the array, and this will go up till L is reached to the end of the array, so that we can make sure of a dot length. Yeah, and yeah, we have written this program without main method. That is not going to work for us, so we have to write the main method, and under that we have to print all this, means paste the values. Now if we have conditions, we have to make 4 conditions, but here we can come to know that these two conditions are same. We are doing same operation for these two conditions, 1 0 and 1 1. So we have to write only these two conditions. Okay, so 0 1 and 0 0. So we will write for this, if a of L is what? Left value is what? 0 equals to 0, and condition. Why? Because both conditions should be satisfied. A of R compulsory, yeah, A of R should be greater, means should be A of R, right? 1 should be non-zero, means not equals to 0. So it will hold the value as, what we have to do, we have to swap. Okay, so we have to push the zeros to the right hand side, right? So right hand side value will first come into left hand side. So A of L will be holding the value of right hand side value there. So just A of R would be assigned to 0 directly. There is nothing to worry about that. It is a swapping kind of thing, because you know that 0 is there, right? So you just have to constantly assign the 0 to the A of R. So this will be swap. Now else if we have to put these two conditions, this one we have to do R plus plus for all the zeros. So I will copy this one only. A of L is equals to 0, and this is also 0. Then what we have to do, we have to do R plus plus, and here we have to do after swapping we have to do two things, L plus plus and R plus plus. Yeah, so here L plus plus, R plus plus. Then we have to move ahead after swapping. Here we just have to move R plus plus because 0 is there, L1 is there because yeah, we have to move that. Okay, else we have to both L plus plus and R plus plus. That's it. So this is the code. We can have only one while loop that is big of n, and the space will be big of 1 because there is nothing we are using for storing the values. We have the same array which we are modifying. So interview can give the constraint that you just have to modify the same array. You don't have to write another program, another two arrays, and one is holding non-zeros and another one holding zeros, and then you combine both the arrays. That is not required over here. You just have to modify the same array. Why? Because this is a constant. They can ask, they can give you the limitations over there. Let's run this code. What is the error? So whenever you get the error right, so you have to look at the error. What is the problem? Index out of bound length 1. Okay, a dot length L is 0 R. Yeah, so we have to use R over here because we have to go at the end. So R, when L is there and R is there, so if we compare L with the a dot length, then L will come over here at this, and R will go out of the array. So we have to be careful about this one. Okay, so this condition is very crucial. Now this is the program. You can pause the video and write the code, and please do programming from your end as well. Means solve the problems, similar problems like 0 0 you have to bring first, and then later on. Let's try by running this code. Save. Yeah, so now this is done, output as expected. Now if we add -1 over here, let's say, so this will also work for -1 negative values. Why? Because we have implemented the generic code over here. Yeah, that is also working. Means the time complexity of this program would be big of n. Why? Because we are iterating through each and every element of the array. So if there is 1000 elements, we have to iterate 1000 times. We can consider 1000 minus 1 times, but so that would be like big of n. So the time complexity for this program would be big of n. Yeah, so please do share with your friends who are doing programming, who loves programming or coding. They understand it and solve the problems. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time, and thanks for watching.